Welcome back, everybody, to We Talk Film. I'm your host, as always, Barry, joined as always by Clayton. How you doing, Clayton?
Hey, Barry, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. We're getting by. We may be a little bit late to this week's podcast, but, we're still here. We're right on time, in a way. In some place, we're on time, In some multiverse out there, we're on time. We're always on time.
We are here every week, no matter what.
No matter what.
We'll never have a day off.
No.
But speaking of things that has a day, don't have has a spa. Speaking of things that don't have days off.
Speaking of
the news.
The news.
Alright, a lot happened this week in film, especially because we're a couple days late to this episode. Some more development has happened to some of the stories on my notes today. So the first thing that I would like to mention is a story straight out of Netflix. Apparently they're opening physical stores in 2025. It's kind of like an amusement retail store done up like the shows that they create. It sounds weird, kind of cool. But it's definitely like a cash grab way to sell merch. I don't know.
Oh, yes. Now, Netflix are going to make their money somehow. Cool. They got to up their pricing and then also make physical stores.
It's kind of, because it's like they don't make the physical media, so they're just selling like t-shirts and shit. So, I mean, whatever. Sure, go buy a Stranger Things shirt if you want.
Why not?
Whatever. All right. Over to some other news. This is a story that's kind of two stories, and they're connected, and it's weird. So, The Kingsman 2 and Kingsman 3. So, right?
What? I'm already confused.
Different movies. Okay. So, The Kingsman, the prequel to Kingsman.
Yes.
The Secret Service. Okay. Well, that's getting a sequel.
Okay.
Not good. But it's getting a sequel. The Kingsman 2, which is called The Traitor King, which is even more confusing. So the prequel is getting a sequel, and it's going to cover the rise of Hitler. Because in the post-credit scene of the original, it teases Hitler like a Thanos villain. It's going to be... This is the Infinity War.
This is the Infinity War, the Kingsman universe.
Yeah, so that is being filmed next year, or will come out next year. One of those.
Okay.
I didn't write that down. But Kingsman 3. So this is the current ones, which is also happening and will be filming next year as well. So this is so we're getting a third film and a second film for the prequel, but the third film's for these new ones. So there's gonna be 5 Kingsman movies all up.
Okay. Sure. Why not?
That's happening.
I mean, I'm excited for Kingsman 3 with what's his name, Edgerton, but I haven't even watched the other Kingsman, the Kingsman movie. So
No, that's okay. It doesn't matter. Oh, Barry, can I borrow $3.1 million?
Sure, why not? I'll just take that out of my bank account right now for you, bud.
Oh yes, because someone took that out of their bank account recently to purchase something that I find really cool. They purchased an original Star Wars X-Wing model that was used in the film. It sold at auction for $3.1 million, which is insane.
That is insane.
And apparently it was just sitting in the shed of one of the model shop workers that passed away. So it went off to auction and sold for $3.1 million. That's insane.
That family made a lot of money off a dead guy.
Like what? Yeah, I mean, it makes Star Wars stuff sells for insane amounts of money.
It does.
All right, over in Marvel news, Charlie Cox. A photo of him came out recently from New York Comic Con where he cosplayed Bluey, an Australian icon. And he's got face paint on and weird ears. It's a terrible costume, but it's really funny.
It's really funny and it's amazing. We'll do that. I love Bluey and I love
it's really
Charlie
cool.
Cox.
Barry's gonna put that photo to YouTube now, and now that I've mentioned it, he has to do that as extra work.
I have to do those things now. I have to edit these videos.
Yeah. Pull that up, Barry. If you're watching on YouTube and he hasn't pulled that up, downvote it.
Yep.
Dislike the video.
Dislike the video.
All right. Speaking of disliking videos, a group of fourth graders in Miami, right, in year 4, were shown the first 30 minutes of Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, a horror
Oh.
reboot. They were
Oh
shown it
no.
apparently on accident, but they were shown the first half an hour, so it's kind of weird because that's a lot of accidental showing before the
That
teacher
is a lot
realized
of
what they put on.
accidental showing. So
It's
obviously that
weird.
teacher didn't
Parents
care.
were mad.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
have
yeah.
no idea if the story developed any further, but
Yep.
apparently they were very distraught at what they were watching, which makes sense
Ah, that's all
considering
right.
it's an
I
incredibly
watched
violent
Taxi
horror
Driver at
movie.
the age of 8 and I turned out fine.
Ah, did you? You started a podcast. I don't know.
Oh,
Uh, all right. Let's move over to some more Marvel news because we're getting a couple more season 2s of shows. It seems like the success of Loki season 2 has led to some interesting developments because Moon Knight and Miss Marvel are both getting second seasons. They're in development now, and that's great news because I liked both of those shows. Moon Knight
yes,
more than Miss
yes.
Marvel, but I really liked both of those shows. Anyway, yes, they're great. Getting season 2s.
Season 2 of Moon Knight. I'm excited. Let's go. Good old Oscar
It's gonna be
Isaac.
great.
I love me some Oscar Isaac.
It's gonna be great. But unfortunately, to some other Marvel. Deadpool 3. The original story on
Ugh.
my notes was that the release date was at risk. It might have been pushed back, and now it has been. It is now coming out on May. Oh no, it was originally going to release on May the 3rd of next year. And then it's reportedly being pushed back to towards the end of next year, which
Yeah, yeah.
varies, but it seems like Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to take Deadpool's slot in terms of release. None of that I don't think has been confirmed yet, but it's at least we're getting something Marvel then. And Captain America sounds interesting enough for me to be okay with it. And it's considering Deadpool isn't going to start filming again until next year because of the actors' strikes. It makes sense. The movie's apparently 50% cut and edited and filmed.
Yep,
So
yep.
yeah, it makes sense, and hopefully that gives them more time to develop it further and improve what they were originally going to do. So sure, why not? Some things getting season. A TV show that we're both watching and enjoying right now, Gen V, the boys' spin-off show, has been renewed
Yeah.
for a second
Good old Gen
season,
V.
and it's not even halfway through. People are loving it that
Yeah,
much, and the show's
yeah.
really great. It's getting a second season. Amazon Prime's like,
Just
yeah, man,
everything
this
that
is
Robin
awesome.
Kirkman is putting his name to is getting like multiple seasons now.
It's so good. And we about that in the director's cut of today's episode, so be sure to
Yes, we
stick
will
around
be.
and watch it on YouTube, where we have an
Woo!
extended edition of all of these shows. Look at that,
Look at that.
self-promotion. We do that
And you
now.
can see our lovely faces as well.
If you really want to, sure. We're not forcing you to do that. You can watch it or just listen to it on YouTube and not
Just
look
have
at
it
our
in the
faces. That's
background while
something
you're
you can do as
watching
well.
other things,
Put it on the biggest TV you can find, even better.
Yes.
Annoy your family with our
Put it
ramblings.
on in a cinema.
Oh, that would be cool.
That
We
would be
should
cool.
find a way to do that.
We
That's
should. We honestly should.
I wouldn't, but we should find a way to do that. That's really cool. Anyway, we've got a final story this week. It's a story in two parts because it's some video game news revolving some productions, okay? Coming straight out of Netflix and coming out of Amazon. The first one from Netflix is a BioShock film is reportedly in its writing stage now that the writing strike is over. The production team is incredibly optimistic for the fact that they're announcing that we're writing it means
Yep.
that they're doing well because they're like, yeah, and it's good. That doesn't usually get announced until it started filming or until something's worked on. It's weird for the production team to be this optimistic about something they're writing, especially out of Netflix. So that's a
Oh
good
yeah.
sign. I'm all for a BioShock. That's gonna be cool.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then Amazon, their Fallout TV show that they were working is going to premiere on April 12th of next year. So towards the start of next
About
year, we're gonna
time.
get
About time.
the Fallout show.
I'm
it
looking
looks
forward to
really
that
good. All
show
of the
so
set
much.
photos and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. And that concludes this week's news. This
Films?
this is the end of the news for this week.
This is the end of the
We know
news.
what we're doing.
This is the end of the podcast. All right, here we
See you guys.
go. Okay, cool.
That's not
Well,
our
that's
song.
some
That's not how
wonderful.
the song.
That's some wonderful news you had there, Clayton. So yes, in today's episode of the
Yep.
podcast, we are talking about a little film where I'm gonna play a clip from right now and try and guess what it is.
I don't even know if you love me anymore. Of course I love you. And kill these men who killed my family.
Did your wife say who she was most afraid of? Don't do something you're going to regret for the rest of your life.
I ain't got nothing but regret.
So yes, Clayton and I
boy.
went to go and see Martin Scorsese's new film, Killers of the Flower Moon. So let me tell you a little synopsis, Clayton, about this film, even though you've already seen it. In the early 20th
Go
century,
for it,
the
Derek.
Osage tribe experienced a traumatic shift of fortune when oil was discovered on their Oklahoma reservation. However, due to reservation laws, white guardians are appointed to manage their newfound wealth. Ernest Burkhart, returning from World War I, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, becomes entangled in a sinister plot orchestrated by his uncle William King Hale, played by Robert De Niro, who possesses a benefactor but secretly plans to murder the Osage tribe members to steal their oil riches. He murders the deaths of several wealthy Osage people, including the poisoning of Molly, played by Lily Gladstone, Ernest's wife, as more Osage fall victim to murder and poisoning. The tribe's council urges members to fight back, including the FBI to come into Oklahoma to investigate the murders. And obviously, that's basically what the movie is about. And it's all
Ooh.
based upon true events as well, which is
Oh
another
my
wacky thing.
God.
So, yes, this is Martin Scorsese's. It's Scorsese. I got told, because I kept saying Scorsese. And then
Yeah,
but no,
isn't that
I was
right?
watching a podcast with the editor, and she says it's Scorsese. Not Scorsese, Scorsese.
What?
This is the editor, Thelma Schoonmaker, who's edited basically all of Martin Scorsese's films. That's actually how you pronounce it, is Scorsese. people were
Well,
saying
I
it
know
wrong on the
better than to
podcast.
trust you on name pronunciations.
It's
So
Scorsese.
I'm gonna stick.
Scorsese.
I'm
I've
sticking
done
with
my
Scorsese.
research.
Okay, you can do your research all you want. I'm not saying Scorsese. All right, I'm saying
It's
Scorsese.
Scorsese.
It just sounds better. It's
But
like
yes, this
that
is-
Simpsons joke where it's like, is that Matt groaning? It's
Matt
graining. Are you
Groening,
sure?
Groening.
Are you sure? No.
No. Well, that's why I was watching the podcast
Yes.
anyway. But yes, this is Martin Scorsese's new
Yeah.
film that comes at a whopping 3.5 hours long. And oh my gosh, what a wonderful film. But oh my gosh, it does drag on just a wee bit for being 3.5
just a
hours as a
little
feature
bit.
film. So take it away, Clayton. What are your thoughts on this film?
Well, as always, Barry, spoiler warnings, hit that button.
Oh, yeah.
Because we are going to spoil the hell out of this 3.5
Yes,
hour movie.
we are.
And because it's a 3.5 hour movie, I doubt a lot of you are going to go see it. If any of you are going to go see it. Because this movie is not doing well at the box office. The Taylor Swift Eras
No.
Tour movie is killing
He's
it.
making more money.
Yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon is not going to make its money back. And I feel like Scorsese knew that because it's a 3.5 hour historical epic about like oil tycoons in the late Wild West, right? So this is a very niche film already. Unless you're a
It is a very
Scorsese
niche
fan,
film.
I don't think a lot of people are going to go see this film. But it is a good film. Like it's bad. This is an enjoyable 3.5 hours, a very long 3.5 hours, and it's definitely dragged out in a lot of ways, and not in the ways that I would have wanted. But yeah, it is dragged out. It's 3.5 hours, but it's really good. The acting in this movie, I think, sells it because a lot of this movie's talking. A lot of the action is quick.
Yep.
There is what, like 20 minutes of action in this 3.5-hour movie,
Yep.
and it's glossed over quick. But yeah, the acting definitely carries this movie. The performances alone were really good with De Niro and DiCaprio opposite
Oh
each other,
yeah.
which has never happened before in a movie.
No.
This is the first time. It's really well done. They're both killing it, and it makes
Yep.
sense for two actors of that high caliber to do it. But also some of the other actors, like the actor who plays Molly, who I don't know her name. She
Lily
kills it as well.
Gladstone.
Yes, her. She kills it as well. She holds her own against two of the most well-known actors in all of Hollywood. So
Yes,
that
she does.
is equally impressive. But yeah. Oh, Barry, why don't you talk about this film a little bit? Just kick it
So
off.
going back to the actors and everything like that, let's start off with, I should say, the front runner for this film that was absolutely stand out to me was Lily Gladstone, who played Molly Burkhardt in the show. I was really hoping we would see more of her character, but every time she was on screen, she was phenomenal. And like you said, she was in scenes with Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio, and she was basically on the same acting performance and on par with two of the biggest giants in Hollywood, type thing.
Yeah.
Like everyone
Yep.
bring their A game to this movie, especially her, because I'm pretty sure this is her first feature film or first ever main
Oh, really?
performance in a film, which is
Oh.
another amazing thing as well. I could be wrong about first feature, but it's her first ever first
Uh,
big
it's
main
definitely her
character.
first
Yeah.
biggest. Yeah. Yeah. It's
But
definitely
then,
her biggest.
also as well, you
Yeah.
got Leonardo DiCaprio playing as Otis Burkhardt, which coming out of the cinema and throughout this film, I hated his character so much. So basically, a big plot of the story as well, spoilers again, is that he slowly over time, through manipulation of Robert De Niro's character, William King Hale, is basically asked to slowly poison his wife and everything like that, and just gets caught up in all his schemes and everything like that. And it's just his character I absolutely hated so much, but that's what sells it, because it was absolutely amazing that it got me as a viewer absolutely despising this character, where you are meant to despise this character, type thing, because he did some horrible things, and he was still thinking that he was the good guy at the end of the day, doing it all and stuff. Thought he could get away with it all.
Yeah.
And then you got
Oh,
Robert De
man.
Niro's William Hale, which I would have to say this is probably one of the best Robert De Niro performances I have seen in his films. Probably in the past 20 years, I would say this is top
Oh,
three
yeah.
characters for me. It's such a humanistic evil villain in a way. You can see his approach to it, but he is just downright evil, plotting all these murders against the Osage and everything and as Robert De Niro always does, he does such an amazing performance, especially with scenes with him and Leonardo DiCaprio bonding and having that relationship of uncle and nephew and everything like this. So well done. It's so well done. But even the supporting actors and everything like that bring their A game. So Brendan Fraser makes an appearance later in this film. And everything like that. He was absolutely amazing. That was just an absolute standout. And you got Jesse Plemons as well, who plays Tom White, one of the FBI investigators. John Lithgow was in here as well.
Yeah, he's in it.
So many people were in this film. I'm pretty sure even Jack White made an appearance in this film. The lead singer of
you
White
said that,
Stripes.
and I was like,
yeah, he's at the end of the film. And also Sturgill Simpson. He appeared in this film as well. He's the bootlegger guy. Because I called that out when we watched the film. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Sturgill Simpson. It was Sturgill Simpson. He's appearing in everything now. I'm so happy that Sturgill Simpson is finally appearing and stuff. It was
really
amazing.
cool to see. Quite a few big names in this film, and most of them don't show up until the last 20 minutes of a 3.5-hour movie. Brendan Fraser and John Lithgow show up in the courtroom for 5 minutes at the end, and they're great. But you don't get to see much of them, and it's very convoluted, because this movie, despite it being 3.5 hours, would have worked as a mini series better. And we talked about this as soon as we came out. We said, if this was a 6-hour, 6-episode mini series, like a Band of Brothers sort of situation, it would be insane. If they spent more time fleshing out the actual murders that DiCaprio commits in the movie, the murders, the actual killings happened very quickly, like that. It'll just be 2 seconds of a guy walking, and then bang, he's dead, and then it'll cut back to the main drama, which was cool, but it didn't didn't really give a sense of building up to it as much as I would have liked. I would have liked
Yeah.
a lot more time before the actual murders happen in that.
Yep.
But yeah, like you said, there's much action. So basically, the movie opens with DiCaprio just kind of wandering up, and it's a weirdly modern take on like a Western theme for this little intro. I
No,
really like
it's very
the
much
intro.
a Western paced film, if I'm being honest. Like it's very
Oh yeah,
much
yeah,
that
yeah.
long setting way. So
It is a Western, but it still adds that sort of modern historical lens on top of it. Because film open really cool, like, almost Red Dead Redemption inspired opening where he comes in on a train and he gets off and there's this cool
oh
song,
yeah.
and then he
The
meets De
cinematographer for
Niro,
this film,
who's
by the
his
way,
uncle.
is just phenomenal. So Robert
Yeah.
Rodrigo, same guy that did
Oh
Barbie,
yeah,
by the way, same guy
cinematography.
that did Barbie. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
really? That's
yep,
impressive.
that is
That's a
impressive.
very different movie to have
Yeah,
done
yeah.
previously. Come straight off that onto this. That's awesome. But yeah, so the movie's shot really well.
Rodrigo
So
Perito, sorry, is the cinematographer.
Whoa. Okay. I just gotta stop trusting you with names, Barry. No more names for
No
you,
more
my god. So yeah,
names.
DiCaprio goes back to his hometown. He meets his uncle De Niro, who kind of shows him. He's like, "Hey, man, there's a bunch of Indians out there. They've got a shit ton of oil land. If you marry one of them and then kill them off, you'll get their title deeds, and we'll all be rich." And then
Yep,
DiCaprio's like, "Yeah, right." And he goes and marries one, and then
yep,
spends the next 3 hours killing her family and slowly
yeah.
poisons her, and kind of doesn't feel guilty about anything.
Nope, nope.
DiCaprio's character has like no remorse for anyone in this film except for maybe his wife, but that's even from just him. Like
Yeah,
if he doesn't care about his wife's sister and family, it's just his wife and
yeah,
kids. And then De Niro's even worse because De Niro's like, I don't even care about anyone except myself and all of this money I'm gonna get. It's
yep,
okay.
yeah.
They're, the only good person is his wife, Lily Gladstone. What was her name?
Molly Burkhart.
Molly. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Molly, and she spends most of this movie sick in a bed.
yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, it's definitely a western. It's paced not very well. I would say that the downfall of this movie is its pacing, and that's due to its runtime and the
yes,
fact that Scorsese gets pretty much free reign to do whatever he wants, and that isn't always a good thing. It can definitely lead to elements of the film feeling lesser than most of it. Like, yeah, like I said, like a lack of action, drawing out some scenes.
yep,
Cinematography's great. Lighting in this movie was awesome. This is like some of the greatest lighting I've seen in recent years. It just looks so good.
yep,
Everything looks amazing. The sets design, all of it, so good. It fills the era really well. The acting performances are great. But probably my biggest gripe with the film is the ending.
yeah,
After the
yeah,
trials,
yep.
we zoom out, and all of a sudden we're in a theater play, in like a
Yeah, and it's like
1930s theater play, and then
1960s, 1970s, because they have
yeah,
the Lucky
they're
Strikes
narrating it.
cigarettes in the background.
hmm
So
hmm They're narrating the story like it's a radio play. They're doing the
yeah,
sound
yeah,
effects and they're reading lines from a script. And then Scorsese himself shows up and just kind of tells you what happens to the characters. And that's
yep,
how it ends. We don't get to see any of that. They just kind of tell us that. And it only happens at the end. It doesn't bookend the movie. Like, it
nope.
doesn't do it at the start. It's not like, oh, let me tell you a story. And
Yeah,
then it
it
goes into
felt
the film.
really
It
out of
just kind of
place.
ends.
Yeah,
It was weird. It's just a sudden weird little jump. Like I said, I wouldn't have had a problem with it if the movie was like narrated by Scorsese and was
yeah,
bookended by the theater scenes, told like it's a story. But no,
yep,
it just happens at the end, and I don't like that.
yeah,
It feels so like almost rushed. Honestly, it's like they didn't know how to end it, so they did this, and that might be the case. It might just be this Scorsese wanted, and in that case, we shouldn't have listened to him.
yeah. Well, that's
Because
the thing. That's the thing
there's
with
a
the film.
stupid idea.
Yeah, this film
Yeah.
does a lot of good things. Like it's a normal Scorsese film and everything like that. You know
Mhm.
what you're set in for but there's also a lot of
Yeah.
wrongs that it's doing at the same time. And like we said, yeah, we had a
Yep.
discussion coming out of the cinema and everything like that. It should have been, it could have done so much better as a 6-part miniseries where we could have got on more
Yeah.
detail about the Osage people and
Yep.
everything like that. Have it from their perspective for a couple episodes, and then go further investigation of the FBI. So,
Yeah.
because that's the thing, the original script for this film, I think the book anyway is more based upon like the FBI investigation, which was Jesse Plemons' character,
Mm.
because Leonardo DiCaprio was meant
Yep.
to play that character originally, before COVID and
That's right.
before The
Yeah.
Irishman and everything like that. Because they've been like trying to develop this movie for such a long time, and everything like
Wow.
that. So, but then obviously they changed it up a bit and being like, oh, let's have a different perspective and show it from Ernest Burkhart's perspective, kind of like a middleman type
Mm.
thing, and he's kind of resolved around it. But that's the thing, they still
Yeah.
didn't take into consideration, like, there should be a limit to how long films are at cinemas these days. Because it was a long time sitting in a
Yeah.
cinema. Like, if this was at home where I'm more
Oh, yeah.
comfortable, where I can actually pause the film and go to the toilet and everything like that,
Mhm.
sure, why not?
Yep.
I would watch a 4-hour cut
Yep.
type thing.
Yep.
But being in a cinema and everything like that, there should be like a limit to how long your feature film actually can be. I think 3
Yeah. And
hours,
I
two
mean
and a half hours. And that's the thing, there is a good hour of this film that could have been cut out. Even when I
Yes,
was like
yes.
viewing it and everything like that, I'm just like, yeah, there's a lot of like story stuff there that would have been cool to see them develop more if it was a miniseries,
Yeah.
but you should have just taken it out to further the story
For the
and
film, yes.
yeah, for the film
Yeah.
and to make it a bit more better paced and everything like that. Because that's the thing, it really just dragged out and could have been so much better as a miniseries. Because I'm really intrigued about, because
Yeah.
this is still based upon true events, the tragedy of the
Yeah.
Osage people and everything like that, which is mind-boggling that there was people like this and everything like that, and especially Ernest Burkhart's character. But that's the thing. It's
Yeah.
just, I still just can't get over the performances though by Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro and Lily Gladstone. And just Leonardo DiCaprio's
Yeah,
performance
and,
of his like facial expression that entire time. He has like this grumpy look to his face, like this sad entire time. I was like, how? How do you do that the entire film, even while you're talking?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so yeah, taking a step back, this story is really interesting. The fact that it really happened. This is a true event, like a true story, with of course some dramatization, but it's still a true story. It's so
Yep.
interesting to see how these events unfolded because the twists in this movie are really good. There's some
Oh
awesome
yeah.
reveals and twists, and the investigation side of it's really cool. But yeah, I feel like because it's Scorsese, they let him do a 3.5 hour movie and let
Yep.
him put it out in cinemas. And that's the thing. This is an Apple like production. So this I think was probably meant to go to Apple's streaming service or something similar to what Napoleon, which is
Yes.
another Apple film
Yes.
that's coming out. It's the same sort of thing, but they decided to put it in cinemas. And it's not going to make its money back. If 6-part series, it would be making money because it would be fleshed out more, it would have more action, it would be
Yep.
more intense. People would watch it once a week for an hour instead of 3.5 hours in the cinema, which I didn't even get through. I had to go to the bathroom in the middle. We Googled what time to go to the bathroom
Yeah.
before
What
we
time to
went
actually
in
go to the
because we
bathroom?
were
And it's the
not getting
FBI
through
scene
this.
if you go and see it.
But yeah, like I said, this movie's it's good. It's not a bad film. It's just too much film, like
It's
for what
too
it
much
is,
film. Yep.
and
Yep.
too much film. Or not enough of a show. Like, yeah, it's hard to really speak about this film because a lot of it is dialogue. It is an incredibly dialogue-heavy film.
Yep.
This film is definitely not for everyone. If you're expecting action or if you're expecting like Wild West shootouts and stuff, you're probably not going to enjoy this film.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you like drama or mystery crime thrillers, you'll probably like it. But it's a hell of a commitment, especially for cinemas,
Oh
which is
yeah.
why it's not doing well.
No,
So,
but this
yeah,
is the
it
thing
really
about
doesn't surprise me.
cinemas and stuff like this before we wrap up on things here. Apparently, though,
Mhm, mhm.
48% of all people that went to go and see this box office weekend, or the first open weekend for it, were under the age of 35. So that's almost half of the
Oh,
viewer
really?
audience was under the age of 35, which I found quite
That
surprising.
that is really surprising because considering look at our cinema, everyone else in that was old. There was,
Yeah.
like, 4 or 5 old people behind us, and there was another
I know
older
there was
couple
people
behind
my
they
age.
weren't
It was strange.
Yeah, but it's like our cinema was full of old people, and that's really surprising considering how long and weird. That's hard to believe, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
Very. Yeah, okay, sure. I guess they're just going to the cinema more, and they're
Yeah.
willing to give it a try. I don't know.
Well, that's the. I think
Sure.
just still because it's a Scorsese film, his name still
Yeah,
has
that's
such a
true.
big reputation in Hollywood, and I
Yeah,
think that's the reason
and so
why
does.
Apple as well allowed him to have $200 million to make this film, and was like, you can do whatever that you want. You want to
Yeah,
release a 3.5 hour cut, go for it, because it still is a
yeah,
Scorsese film, and his name has been well known
yes,
for the past 50 years now.
yes.
So
And honestly, props for Apple giving him that money and that
yeah,
chance because, like I
yep,
said, all the names in this film carry it. Like you see Scorsese, DiCaprio, De Niro, you're like, okay, I know those names. Those are good names. They're good
yep,
signs. This is a 3.5 hour movie. The studio's like, yeah, here's 200 million. Do whatever you want. 3.5 hours. Like that's insane. That's an extra 2 hours than your average comedy film. You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
a lot to commit. And I love that the studio was willing to take that chance, even though they knew that it probably wasn't going to make money.
yep,
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, it takes big names like that for something to happen like that. But sure, I'm all more. I wouldn't mind a 3.5 hour movie if it was paced well and if
yeah,
it needed that. But yeah, this one definitely fell a little bit flat.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's okay. Should we move on
Cool.
to some final thoughts and ratings?
Final thoughts and ratings. Who wants to go first? You want to go first?
I can go first. So I'm sitting at a 7 out of 10 for this
Yeah,
film. Like I said, it's good. It's just a hell of a commitment, and the pacing is what lets it down. The pacing and the ending lets it down.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
like I said, there's what 3 hours of this movie that's really good. It's just yeah, you need to you need to find time or
oh
watch it
yeah,
in the comfort of your own home.
yeah,
The performances are good, acting's amazing, lighting, dressing, everything is awesome. It's great. It's some of the best that we've ever seen. But yeah, 7 out of 10. Just yeah, pacing, ending. That's pretty much it that was wrong with the film.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm giving it a 8 out of 10. Like I said, yeah, it was a very like pacing issue with this film. Like I said, it could have been as a feature film, could have been a bit shorter. If they did it as a mini series, they could have done so much better. And that's what I would have liked to see more out of all this, was to see more of the perspective of the Osage people, especially Molly's character. I
Mm,
feel like if
mhm.
we actually started with her from the beginning and seeing her family die until she got sick, and then it changed to Ernest's perspective, or even Jesse Plemons'
Ooh, that
character,
could be cool. Yeah.
I would have preferred that so much more than this, and I would have liked to see the more of the investigation side to it all. But like I said, if they did it as a mini series or
Yeah.
whatever happened, like yeah, it's definitely a film. And then that last scene at the end where they're like talking about it, what happened in the future,
Yeah.
it really took me out of the film. If I'm being honest, like thinking about it now, I'm just like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's just so out there. Like if it started
It
with that
doesn't
at the
work.
beginning, it would have
Yeah.
been fine. But it was just all of a
It's
sudden, no, we're at a news broadcast now. It's the 1960s. And it was like, what? What?
it
Okay. Jack
it
White's in
doesn't
the
work.
background?
It's yeah,
Sure.
it doesn't work. And Scorsese should have seen that it didn't
Yeah.
work, but I
Yeah.
guess he didn't. No, whatever.
Yeah.
Scorsese, if you're listening, I would have done it better. So his next films.
Hey, Scorsese, don't
Throwing that
listen to
out there.
him. If you want someone that can help write a script, you know who to call. All right. So
All
on to
right.
our next topic
Oh.
of the week. Obviously, is Loki. Episode 3, season 2 is out. And
Oh.
yes, this episode is called 1893 because that's right, Loki and is it Mobius. Not Morbius, Mobius.
Mobius. He's not a vampire.
He's not a
He's not
vampire.
Jared Leto.
He's not Jared Leto. He's not part of a cult.
Do we
Jason.
do we not have a Loki button? Do we
No,
not have
I need to make a
a
Loki
Loki
button.
button?
I need to make a Loki
Oh,
button.
we need a Loki button.
I always forget. I always forget. Yes,
Never
so
mind.
Loki and Mobius go on the hunt for everyone's favorite cartoon clock as they try to save the TVA. So yes, they are looking for Miss Minutes this episode. They finally find Renslayer's PDA thing from the last episode. They're just like tracking it down. They're like, oh, they've gone back to 1893 where the World Circus Festival thing, and none other than Jonathan Majors makes his appearance
Oh my
finally in
god.
this show as Victor Timely. Obviously, they teased that at the end
Oh yeah.
of the first season, I think, or was it in Quantum
Yes,
Mania?
yeah.
It was something they
Uh,
teased him in already as this
Victor
character.
Timely in particular, I think
Yeah.
he was just teased in Loki trailers. I don't think he was in Quantum Mania at all at the
Oh,
end.
okay. Okay.
If I remember. I wasn't paying attention during that movie, so he could have, but, you know, like, it doesn't matter anyway because he
It
shows up
doesn't
in
matter
this
anyway.
and
He shows up in this
yeah,
and he
so
just steals the show. I'm sorry. We need to keep Jonathan
yeah.
Majors in as much as everything going on
Oh,
at Disney
yes.
at the moment. Oh, I love this episode so much because of Jonathan Majors in it. He is just
Kills
absolutely
it.
amazing as this character.
Kills it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
alright, but before we move on from Jonathan Majors, I'd like to point out the fact that he's playing like hundreds of the same character and doing them all differently. Every
yep,
iteration of Kang we've seen has been completely different and feels different, yet they look the same. The Ant-Man one, the Loki season 1 guy, and then the Loki season 2 Kang, all completely different. And that alone is why Marvel hired this guy to be Kang, because he's
yeah,
killing it in
yeah,
these performances, and I'm so glad that they kept him around because I cannot think of anyone who could have done a good a job of as he like as this character. But
yep,
now
yep,
he is Kang, and he's killing it as the versions of Kang that we've seen. It's just the films that he's in that's let him down. But the
yep.
Kang itself has been good,
Oh
and
yeah, the
this
character and
is
the
definitely
performances.
good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is a good one.
Like
This is a
Tom
good show as
Hiddleston
well.
got out acted this episode. I can clearly say
He
that
did.
he got out acted by
Uh,
Jonathan Majors.
Good. He's still good in the show.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, so basically Loki and Mobius end up in a fair in the 1800s. And Renslayer and Miss Minutes are the bad guys this episode. They basically
That's right.
bring this weird version of Kang into knowledge of the TVA. They give him a book and then travel to his future where they meet up with everyone and he's learning how to do time travel and all of that shit.
Yep, yep.
And then basically Loki shows up and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take you back." And then Sylvie shows up and like, "Hey, I'm gonna kill you." And then there's a big fight and a chase. Loki ends up doing some magic and meets up with
Yep.
the female Loki.
It turns
Miss
out
Minutes is
Victor
weird.
Timely is not so much of a scientist; he's more of a scam artist in a way, because
Yeah,
he's like making things, but they
but he's
don't work
also
after a while.
no, but he's also more of a good guy than the other Kangs that we've seen.
Yes,
He's not
yes,
a bad dude. He doesn't want to hurt anyone. He just wants to kind of make inventions, and they're failing him because of the era's technology. He's like, I know I can do that, but I can't do that now. So I'm gonna
yep.
try, and it's probably gonna fail, and I'm gonna sell it to someone. But at least he's not a bad guy in this, and it's another cool thing to see
No.
because he's different from the other Kangs. But yeah, so Miss Minutes, on the other hand, is a bad dude because
Yes.
she gets a little freaky this episode in a really
She
weird
did
and
get.
unsettling
Yeah, I was
way.
like, that's disturbing to look at. So
It
yeah,
was.
basically what happens with Miss Minutes' character and everything like that. We go to the point where Kang and Rovana Renslayer, I always forget that, Renslayer,
Yeah, Renslayer.
or like they travel away with Miss Minutes and everything like that. And then they're like, oh, we can be partners type thing. But Victor Timely's like, I don't like
Yep.
partners being Kang and everything like that. So he kind of just leaves her on a boat behind while they sail away, him and Miss
Yeah.
Minutes. And then Miss Minutes gets kind of like, it gets a bit frisky and is like, why didn't you turn me into a real girl type thing? And it was kind of
We should have
disturbing.
been more than partners. And it's
Yeah.
weird, very weird. It's very weird. And
Um,
also that harkens back to the comics because in the comics, Kang and Ravonna Renslayer, I think, were married
yes,
at
they're
some point,
lovers.
or an
And
iteration of that character.
then they're enemies and then they're lovers
So
again. And yeah, it's a whole thing.
yeah, Miss Minutes probably knows about that. We're unsure how much of
Yes.
everything she knows. She's a
Yep.
weird little AI robot. She's a
Oh,
great
yeah.
character. I really love it.
Oh, yeah.
And the
And
whole
Tara
weird, she's in
Strong
love
does
with
an
Kang.
amazing vocal performance as Miss Minutes,
She's
by the way.
always good. She kills it no matter what she's voicing.
Yep, yep.
But yeah, and adding that element to the character, it's cool and it's funny, but it's weird, and I like that. I like
Yeah,
how
yeah.
weird it gets with that. Because it adds another element of memorability to the show because the show itself is really cool and it's
Oh, yeah.
really different to the first season. And once again, I feel like the cinematography kills it this one because it's not shot like anything else, and it's carrying that kind of weird handheld look to everything, and it's just great. I'm loving every single part of this show. I'm loving so far, and I just really want to know where it's going to go because I have no idea what even the next episode is going to be. And that's not something I could have said for a Marvel show in a long time.
Yes.
if at all, really.
Yep.
And all of
Yep.
the Marvel shows, you've been like, okay, so this is what's going to happen next. With this season of Loki, I have no fucking clue.
Well, that's the thing, and
And
what
that's great.
Loki's done always well. Like he's the character that in the show that's like kind of setting up the rest of the MCU at the moment. Like what is actually going
Yeah.
on in the MCU of things. It all comes down to what happens in Loki. That's the thing. If you could watch like any Marvel show, the only one I would recommend to watch is actually Loki. Just watch Loki and then watch the films. You know, all
Yeah,
the other ones besides Moon Knight. Go and watch Moon Knight. Moon Knight's really good.
I do like, yeah. I love Moon Knight. It's not Loki. I can admit that. As much as I
Yeah.
prefer watching Moon Knight because I love that show, it's Loki's
Oh
just
yeah.
better.
Yep. Yep.
This is the best MCU show, and this is why it has a second season. And the second
Yes.
season's just as good.
Yep.
So I'm all for that. And yeah, I really just want to see where this goes. And I hope that
Yes.
the writers and the makers of this show do more Marvel stuff because they're killing it here.
Oh
Let
yeah.
them kill it elsewhere.
Yep.
Because
That's
yeah,
the thing. I
it's
wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised
Marina,
if they
yeah,
get the writers and that to help out with like the Kang Dynasty and everything like that, like coming up with the ideas for
they
it.
should.
Because they're doing
Yeah,
such a so like well done job knowing what to do with Kang's character in this show already and everything like that,
yep,
and setting up Loki and setting up the whatever's happening in the TVA so well. I really feel like that would be so great to follow on into the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars and stuff like that, whatever they plan to do in the
yeah,
future.
yeah. Definitely, definitely. So yeah, I mean, this show, I don't really know what else to talk about this episode. The
Yeah,
set
well,
design was very cool.
yeah, set design was absolutely amazing.
We
Obviously, being 1893.
yeah,
How we get
very
to the
cool.
later part of the episode, obviously when Miss Minutes becomes a bit weird. So Victor Timely, obviously sends her back into the little thing away, and then Ravenna Renslayer appears out of the shadows with somewhat um the baton stick things that sends them to the future. I forgot what it's
Oh
called.
yeah,
The stick
I don't know,
thingies that make them vaporize, the
pruning tool.
pruning sticks, the pruning tool.
Yeah,
Basically, one that Victor
sure.
Timely had already made beforehand because they're at his lab at this point. And
Yeah.
then by then, obviously, Loki and Mobius show up, and also Sylvie as well, because she's like, I'm going to kill this variant of Kang and every single one of them.
Oh
And
no.
then Loki's
Yeah.
just like, no, he's actually seems to be a good one, and we need him to save the TVA because that's what Loki and Mobius are trying to do at the moment. They're
Yeah.
trying to get all the timelines to get back together. But for them to do that, they need a King variant to get them in to fix it all
Yeah.
and everything like that. And obviously
Not
they go
good.
away with Victor Timely and everything like that. And then Sylvie sends Renslayer all the way to the edge of time where we see a decaying corpse of the other Kang variant from season one
Yeah.
with Miss Minutes
He who
again.
remains. Yeah.
He who remains being like, I can tell you a secret, but you're not gonna like it type thing. And then obviously,
Yeah. Oh yeah, that
quite a
on.
big
Yeah.
cliffhanger to next week's
I have no
episode.
idea. What's the
No
secret? I
idea.
don't know.
What is the secret?
I have no idea. Where do you think this show is going to go, Barry? Because I'm really curious to see what
Yeah,
you think is
well,
going to happen.
is it a 6 episode season? I think it
Yeah,
is as
yeah,
well.
6.
Yeah, so we're
I
halfway
think
through
it's 6.
already. We're halfway through already. Damn.
What's going to
I want
happen?
more. What's gonna happen? So I think, yeah, we are going to hopefully see the somewhat like TVA has to be probably fixed by the end of this episode, end of the season anyway. I think that's where it's aiming to be. But also
Yeah.
still we're gonna have all these variants of Kang. I would not be surprised if the final episode has that scene of all the Kang variants again. Maybe not on that scale, but just
Oh,
like a
yeah.
lot of like imaginary ones going into separate timelines and that. And this is what sets off
Mhm.
the Kang dynasty and everything like that. But
Yeah.
also, I'm pretty sure this is not going to happen, but I did read a rumor that apparently a certain man in a red and black suit might show up towards the end part of this show because he's in
What?
Deadpool
Red and
3.
black? Hellboy?
Whoa. Hellboy.
Hellboy? Whoa.
Because in
Spider-Man?
Deadpool 3, supposedly the TVA are going to be in Deadpool 3. It's a very big part of the story for that. Dealing with all the multiverse and
man.
the Foxverse and everything like
I-
that. So if they tie it in and everything like that and seeing what happens, yeah, I just kind of hope like things
Oh,
get
boy.
kind of resolved a bit. We kind of see like I don't want this season to leave on a cliffhanger. Like I do, but I don't. Like I kind of want it to be
No.
resolved and like see knowing where we're gonna go. Like it's like a definite thing. It's like this is what's going to be happening next. Is it going to be Kang fighting everyone now type thing? That's where I want to see it resolving and ending and everything like that. I'm not sure what's happening with Sylvie at the moment. This season, I don't find her character to
I have no
be
idea.
that great, to be honest. Not
No,
compared to the first
it's pretty
season.
boring.
She's just like, I'm killing
No.
everyone type thing. And that's kind of just like her
Maybe
whole
that'll
character at
change,
the moment. Maybe that will
but
change
yeah,
and
it's
everything like
not
that.
really that big of a gripe.
And I
I
would
mean, she's
really
not really
like
doing much.
also Loki's character to go back to like the normal timeline to be set up for films and everything like that. Because that's the thing, we don't know
Yeah,
yet
that
if
could
there's
be
going
cool.
to be a season 3 of Loki. I don't think there will be. Because they're
I don't
still
know.
obviously moving ahead with the Kang dynasty and everything like that. It will be cool to see Loki go back into the normal movie universe of things and everything like that. And
Yeah.
he will show up hopefully in Deadpool 3, if not future films coming up soon. Because at the moment, Marvel is in absolute chaos with everything going on with the delays. We're not sure what's coming out first and everything like that. But at the moment, I am really enjoying this show. I will probably give this episode
Yeah.
an 8 out of 10. I really
Yep.
like you said, the set design for this going back to 1893 was so good. Jonathan Majors
so
as
cool.
Victor Timely, showing a different variant of Kang, just absolutely hit the ball on the head this time. It's so good to see, like, it is him, but it's a different version of him, and he's playing it kind of different as well. And it's just like, I want to see more Kang variants.
So
Like,
cool.
I want to see more Kang
Yeah.
variants. Please give me more Kang variants.
No, it's definitely really cool. But we've got the Marvels coming up. That's the next MCU thing that
Yes.
no one
yes.
is excited for.
Nope.
That's gonna suck. I'm calling it now. It's gonna be bad. But at least we got Loki. We got 3 more weeks of Loki being good. Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully good.
Hopefully.
Um,
Hopefully good.
But yeah, I've got high hopes for it. It's very hard to kick off a season this well and then stuff it up that badly, especially because the writers killed it the first season. So I'm sure that they'll do it again. I don't want to
Yeah. Yeah.
jinx it or like
Well, I
right
think
now,
we will
but
have another strong ending to the Loki show. I'm pretty
hope so.
confident in that. Especially because it is the same writers from the first season. It really just depends on what it's all setting up for and everything like that. Because
Yeah.
Marvel is in utter chaos at the moment. Nothing's really relating to a lot of things. No one's even mentioning the Eternals, or there's a giant fucking giant in none of the stuff
yeah.
at all still,
That's right.
which makes zero sense in my head still. And they're making it Eternals too
I
as well.
know. Yeah. Good. I like Eternals. I
Yeah.
loved Eternals. Honestly, it's one of my favorite like posting films. So, and I know that that's gonna get me killed like online if I admit that, but I loved Eternals and I want more. I want more good shit and less bad shit. Is that too much to ask for
Yes.
from Marvel?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
like, come on, man. Oh well. Anyway, I think that's about it for this week's episode of We Talk Filmberry. What do you reckon?
Is it? You didn't give your final rating. What was your rating for this week's episode?
Oh, 8 out of 10. There you go.
There we go. But yeah, I think we can wrap it up there. Sorry, it's a bit of a short one, but yeah, try and get it out as early. Obviously, we're a bit delayed in this week's podcast because of technical issues and a certain someone not getting off his butt. But other than that, thanks for joining us yet again, everyone. And as always, make sure to follow us on all our social medias. We are on YouTube, where you can see a director's cut where we're going to be talking about Gen V. So make sure to stick around on YouTube for that. And yeah, we'll see you in the next podcast.
Yeah.
Because I'm literally looking what's up next for the MCU timeline.
Yeah.
So welcome everybody to the director's cut
Hi, Barry.
of We Talk Film. Now, when you Google us, we come up with our logo.
Oh
of
yeah,
the
pull
YouTube
that up.
channel,
Let's have a
and
look.
none of the
Kick Craig
links
out.
go straight to us, but our logo
What's up
and
next?
our name comes up. So
Ah!
I'm happy with that at the moment, especially when we've done like basically zero advertising for
Yeah.
this podcast. We're getting there. We're slowly getting there.
It's cool. I
So what have we
Yes, we will be rich and famous soon enough.
Yep,
Uh,
yep.
But yeah.
So,
Oh,
coming
yeah,
on the
we better.
backbone of that
Yeah. So what's up?
episode today,
What's
the
do we know
MCU
anything?
timeline of things. We'll talk about Gen V in a second. But I just want to on the backbone of that. So we do
Yes, we'll
have the
get there. Don't worry.
Marvels coming up, which is November 10th. So yeah, only in a couple weeks. After that,
Yeah.
it won't be. This is movies anyway. Captain America: New World
Okay.
Order,
Yeah.
which apparently is still May 3rd. I think that's being delayed
Yep.
as well with everything. I haven't checked the delays and stuff like this. It's just like a
I think
post
that
from a
is
couple weeks
the
ago.
delayed date because that was
Okay.
when Deadpool was going to come out. So that took that date. I'm
Okay,
pretty sure.
yeah. Because Thunderbolts now
Yeah.
is July 26th of next year. Blade,
Oh wow.
which I don't think they've even started filming yet, supposedly comes out on September 6th of next year.
Oh no.
That ain't
No.
happening. Deadpool 3,
I
obviously,
hope
yeah,
not.
November 8th now. Fantastic Four, February 14th
Something
of
like that, yep.
2025. Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, May 2nd of 2025. And then Titan
Yeah, still
MCU
not sure.
film, November 7th. Secret Wars, May
Untitled
1st of
9.
2026. And yeah. But obviously, Disney Plus series,
Yeah.
we're going to be having what? No,
What?
we're up to here. So yeah, obviously we've got Loki season 2 happening at the moment. Then it'll be Ironheart. Then it will be Echo.
Oh yeah.
And then Agatha, Coven of Chaos, and then Daredevil Born
It might be
Again.
right. I hope it's good. I really do.
Well, at the moment with
Yeah.
Daredevil,
Oh, what
they just
about?
fired everyone and everything like
Yeah,
that.
that's right. They're starting
Um,
again, so it's
yeah.
probably not going to come out then.
Well, that's the thing because
Oh, what about the animated ones? What are
What If
we
and
getting a
stuff
What
like
If
that.
season 2?
Well,
The
they've
zombies
got
one
on here. This
they were doing?
can't be
What happened
right.
to those?
There's a What If season 2 early 2023. It's like that's not right. So maybe early 2024.
No, that's not right because we're not yet. We've passed that.
Yeah, we've passed that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah.
Very weird. Yeah. So Marvel have a schedule of things.
And it's still utter chaos in the
Let's see.
moment. But most importantly, I'm looking forward to what
Mm.
James Gunn's plan for DC now. That's all I'm looking forward to. But other than
See, now
superhero
it's-
news, let's
yeah.
go to a different universe of superhero news. Let's talk about Gen V. Obviously, this is the backbone of the Boys universe, done by
Yeah.
Eric Kripke's comic books and everything like that. And this is their own like independent thing that's just hasn't been done in comic books before or anything like that. But it's just its own unique story
Yeah.
about teenagers going to superhero college, and it's just as fucked up as the boys.
It's really fun. I have not seen the latest episode, Barry, as well. So I am only
Okay.
up to date with spoilers for the Boys Gen V spin-off.
Spoilers.
Up until when the girl makes them remember what she made them forget. So that's where I'm up to.
Yep. Yeah.
So
So basically,
we shall
what Gen V
refrain
is about,
from,
yeah.
Yes.
From the world of the boys. Whoa, what the hell's going on? Come Gen V, a thrilling new
is that in the
series set in
dialogue?
an American-only college for superheroes. These gifted students put their moral boundaries to the test, competing for university's top ranking and a chance to join the Seven, Vought International Elite Superhero Team. When the school's dark secrets come to light, they must decide what kind of heroes they want to become.
Yep.
So we're
Yeah.
currently 6 episodes in. I think it's only going to be an 8-episode season.
Yes. I think
But yes, so far
getting near the end of the show.
getting
Oh,
near the
I
end
love
of the
it.
show. It is
I love it.
absolutely amazing. They have absolutely just
It's so good. I
hit
will
it
say, I
out of the
think this is
park.
better. This is my favorite season of anything boys related since season 1 of The Boys. Like it's
Yeah.
season 1 of The Boys is my favorite, and then it's Gen V, and then it's 2 and 3 of The
Yeah.
Boys.
Yeah.
I really love this show, and it's so great. The characters, despite this being entirely new, not really based off of the comic books. I mean, it is a little bit, but this is their own take on things. Even more than The Boys. It's so well done. All the characters are so well written, and it's funny. It's so violent, and there is lots of inappropriate things in this show, and
Oh,
it's just
yes.
a joy to watch.
Yeah.
Not a single moment in this show feels unnecessary or like wasted potential. It's some of the most insane shit you see on TV, but you're gonna love it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what else you can say that about.
Well, that's the thing.
There's-
This
I don't
definitely
think,
like
yeah,
it tops the boys in being like weird and strange. That's for
very
sure.
weird,
And that's the thing. I
very
think
weird.
because since it's not based upon the comics or the main storyline of things, they could do whatever they wanted type things. They had more free
Yeah,
range in what they wanted to do with the show,
yep,
and I think that's it. Kind of helps itself in that way because they were like, all right, we
yeah.
know what the people like. They like the boys. They like the fucked up side of it all. Let's just do more of that, but with kids that are
I
in
love it.
college, essentially getting drunk, playing, messing around
No,
with their powers. So
yep.
much nudity.
The best part, the best part about that though, is that's not the best part of the show. Like, that's great
No,
and insane,
no,
but the actual writing is
yeah,
so good. It's like you'd think, oh, we're just gonna do more stupid shit for the sake of doing stupid shit, but no, it's so well written. All of the characters feel like real characters. I love
yes,
everyone in
yes,
this show, even the people that you're supposed to dislike. I enjoy. Like, I think her name's Kate, the blonde one that betrays them. It's like
yep,
she's still one
yep,
of my favorite characters, and it's so hard to do with new worlds, new universes. That's a spin-off show, and it's doing it so well, and it's filling it with
yes,
all of the gory adult stuff that
yeah.
everyone loves from the
Well,
boys,
I'll let you know right
but
now.
not doing it for
Probably
the sake of it.
episode 6, the newest episode, you will love probably the most because of how well it was written and what happens and
Oh.
everything like that. And a
Oh,
certain
hell yes.
someone makes a cameo appearance in it as well, and it was absolutely
I know
amazing to see him.
Yeah, I heard Soldier Boy's in it, so yeah,
Yeah, Soldier Boy's
I do
definitely
know
in
that.
it.
Ooh, watch me crank it. He shows up and he
uh,
cranks that.
he cranks it,
But
that's for
yeah,
sure.
I love it. And also, this has some of my favorite like superpowers out of the boys. Like the guy who sees
Yeah,
everything as puppets every now and then. And
yeah.
that's like the section in I think it's episode 4 where the people turn into puppets and he starts fighting them in that sewer thing as puppets. That was amazing. I love
Oh
that. I
yeah,
love
because
me some
basically you got
Muppet
one character
characters.
that's like literally
Yeah.
like on the same level as Homelander already, but he sees everyone as a puppet when he goes like super rampage mode and
Weird.
everything like that. And it
Weird.
is so weird, but it's so well done because you actually have puppets with guts and everything like that in one episode all coming to pieces, and it's like pinata stuffing and
It's
everything
so
like that.
well
It's like, no,
done.
it was actually
I
real
love it.
people. It's like that. That was so cool.
And it's all practical puppet stuff is real puppet stuff, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that. So that's really cool. It wouldn't surprise me if it's like Jim Henson's company or something that helped with that
Would
because
not
that
be
was
surprised.
awesome.
Would not be surprised if it
Um,
was.
yeah. Oh, I
I
have
should
to
have Googled
ask
that.
who your favorite character is too while you're googling that.
Ooh,
Who's your
at the
favorite character in this show so far? Because
um,
I love it. Mm.
yeah, yeah. I don't
Ooh.
mind the one that's what's his name? Jordan. I feel like there's a lot happening with
Oh
that
yes,
character. Because that's the thing. We got one character in the show, which they've done an amazing performance, by the way. Even though there's a bit of a continuity issue with the first episode and second issue, but we'll get past that with this
there is.
character.
Okay.
Okay, so in the first episode, when he's
Yeah.
the male
What happens?
variant
I
of
didn't
his
notice.
character, he has
Yep.
shaved hair. In episode 2, he has long hair. Or like, yeah, a
Oh,
bit
I
more
didn't pick
longer
that
hair.
up.
Yeah, I was just like, wait a
Well,
minute. Oh, and the audio's cut out. I don't know why.
Oh, am I back? Hello.
Yeah, you're back.
Hello there. Okay. Yeah. So, I was saying, yeah, maybe they can do that. Maybe that's like a power that
Maybe
they're just
maybe that's
saying.
a
I don't
power
know. Maybe
thing.
he can shave his
But
head.
yeah, I feel like that's really well
We
done
can blow
because you
that off.
basically have two different people
Didn't
playing
notice.
the same person as well with this
Yeah, it's
character.
so cool to see.
Which was like, and
So
that's the thing. This is like all these young actors and actresses and stuff like that. This is like their first ever big show and everything like that.
yeah,
And having a character
and they're
like that, and
killing it.
everyone in this, and it's just like these actually they can act. This is actually they're not cringy or
They
anything
can
like
act.
that. They can actually
I
act.
know.
Which
They
is
can
really
act.
amazing scenes for
It's so good.
newcomers and everything like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Jordan's definitely one of my favorites too. But I'd probably have to say Emma, the one that can shrink down and grow big. She's
yeah,
probably like the most interesting of the side characters for me. I think it's really cool. And the effects of her being small and being big look really cool. I hope we see more of that because it looks great. The CGI and stuff in this show is awesome, and the practical effects are just as good. There's lots of everything, and it all looks awesome. So I guess yeah, her because her powers are just really cool, and she's really interesting. Sure.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. All
This
these characters and everything,
Yeah.
they've actually made them interesting. Like they all have their own kind of backstory, their own
Yeah.
darkness to them. Especially with the main character, we start from beginning. Is it Marie and
Mm.
everything like that?
Yes.
Obviously with her
Marie
character and
Monroe
everything like Marie Monroe. And yeah,
or
she's obviously
Moreau.
she killed her parents accidentally with her own powers and everything like
Yeah,
that.
that was a hell of an opening.
That was
Jesus
a
Christ.
hell of an opening.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I can't find anything about Jim Henson Company with the Muppets.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure they no. They probably just did it themselves. Who knows? But yeah, the
Let's
fact
see.
that the we had so favorite character just determines how good this show is. Because I can't name a character that feels bad. Like there's no badly written characters in this show. Everything works, and it's great. I love it. The show is an insane fest of blood and violence and sex, and
Yep. Yep.
it's full of all of that awful shit that we love watching so much, but it's doing it in a way that's well written and makes sense in the world. It's not just there for the sake of it, like some of the stuff in The Boys felt like, especially in the later seasons.
Yes.
Some of the
Yeah.
stuff started to feel like that, and this is definitely a step in the right direction where it's there, but it makes sense that it's there, and it's done really well. So it's great. Yeah, I love this
Okay.
show.
Yeah. So with that episode with the puppets and everything like that, it was helped by the head of makeup person for the show.
Oh, okay.
Fazekis? Okay. Yeah, so apparently the head of makeup, apparently they used to make puppets or something like that, and they were just like, "Hey, we need
Oh,
puppets for the
wow.
show." They're like, "Oh, I can do that," type thing, and that's how that whole scene actually
That's
got
cool.
made.
I
To
like
the
that.
showrunner of that episode. They're like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
That's really cool. I love stuff like that. But yeah. Should we think about calling it a quad quits director's cut? Should we give the boys so far, the boys
Boys,
Gen V, a
so
rating
far,
for our director's cut?
why not? Why not? I'm giving this
Sure.
9.5. I am absolutely adoring this show. It's a shame there's only 2 more
Yeah.
episodes left and everything like that.
I
Excited that we're
know.
having the season 2 already. They already announced the season 2 even before the show's even finished. So that's obviously how well it's
Yeah.
doing on Prime as well. Everyone must be watching it.
Mhm.
I'm very much looking forward to the next season of The Boys, which doesn't come out to next year now.
Yep.
But we also got Robert
Yep.
Kirkman's Invincible season 2 next month. Next month it starts.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that as well. So yeah,
Mhm.
9.5 I'm giving the show.
Yeah. 9.5. I'm honestly sitting on like a 9.8 for
Yeah.
this show
Yep.
so far. It's so like perfect. I can't think of anything wrong either. And it's a 9.8 because, everything can always be better.
Yeah.
But and because it's not over, I don't know where it's going to go. As of right now, it's like 9.8, borderline a 10 because I'm
Just
loving this
watch
show
until
so
you watch
much.
the
It's
most
great.
recent episode. I think you would love the most recent episode.
Oh,
I can't say anything because it
we'll
literally goes
see.
into like all the individual
No.
characters and stuff like that. And everything. It's a very
Ooh,
like mindfucky type
I
episode,
love
but
it.
it's
I
so
love
good.
it.
It's so good.
I love it. I
All
love it.
right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's where we'll
Yeah.
call it a wrap for the director's cut. Thanks again, everyone, for joining. Oh, that's the wrong button.
That's the spoiler button.
That's the spoiler button.
The button after all.
Obviously, make sure to hit that like button because we're on YouTube. Leave down a comment. What show are you liking in the moment? Are you watching The Boys Gen V? Are you watching The Boys at all? Do you watch Kills of the Flower Moon? Let us know down in the comments, and we'll see you in the next episode of We Talk Film.
Bye-bye.